there's really three things that we are aiming to find out. And one is who we are and what we are. And that's, again, the separation of the present-day personality from the inner self. Who we are is the present-day personality. What we are is an inner self. It's a God, an offspring of God. And then we should try to understand something about what life in God is. What is life in God? And the other one is just basically to try to understand the nature of reality we find ourselves in. And right now we find ourselves in the third dimension on Earth, facing all kinds of challenges and lessons and experiences. And these lessons are what gives us the necessary experience to come out of the illusion that we're this weak personality or a personality with weaknesses and strengths. So basically the aim is to know thyself. And on the Temple of Delphi, where all the Greek philosophers went to get information from the priestesses, it was written first, know thyself. I mean, all the spiritual things, all the spiritual teachings and practices really are summed up in that. That's what the aim is, to know thyself. And the interesting thing, if you study a lot of different religions and spiritual systems, especially from the past and everything, they all basically have come to that conclusion and say the same thing, but they say it in a different way. So it's a little hard for us to understand unless somebody helps us understand what Buddha was trying to say or what Muhammad was trying to say. So everyone's, at least to a degree, consciously, mostly we're still subconsciously on this path of spirituality. And a lot of people who go to seminars and read books, they just proceed blindly, kind of like hit trial and error, basically. And they don't really understand that destination or what's required to reach that destination. But we're trying to become conscious about it. So we want to just not just randomly do it. We want to know why we're doing it and where we're headed. So this is a really important thing because it's marking something. When you sit there and say, okay, I understand, I'm on this path and I want to have this experience, I want this end result, this aim, knowing myself, knowing God and other people. That's a real fundamental milestone on your path because you actually know what you're doing. And it marks a good position on the path for yourself. Even if you don't call yourself a researcher of truth, at least you know what's happening to some degree. And that gives you a lot of confidence to make the next step. Because you're making the next step and you don't always know what's there. You may have to make the step, but you don't always know how it's going to go. So it's just a perpetual advice to know thyself. And it was the same thing with, when Socrates said that, and then, you got to kill him, he's saying the truth, right? This happens to Akhenaten, it happens to all people who stand up and put their light up and say something is the truth. The existing mundane worldly thing attacks it. Because the people who are in the let's say, the mundane worldly people, they're threatened by it. Especially if they've got a spiritual system or religion and you come up and you say the truth and they don't have the full amount of truth, they feel so threatened by it and they want to just immediately take you down. So they made Socrates drink poison, and Plato, his main student, right, they decided it was best for him to get out of town because they were going to kill him next. So he took off. He left Athens as Socrates was dying. And they accused Socrates of what's the word? Corrupting the minds of the youth. Don't we hear that about things on social media? Oh, we got to censor social media because people are corrupting other people to what we say the truth is. It's going on still today. It's not like it's ever stopped, really. And you know what? It's obvious that every child born has this inquisitiveness to seek. What's that? And they put it in their mouth. They do. It's a natural inclination of human beings to seek. So all we're doing is just following our natural inclination in the spiritual realm now. And this quest for knowledge there is no satisfaction until you achieve it. I mean, you'll get some satisfaction, but it's never enough. There's always something more, and something more, and something more. And it doesn't matter if a person may be trying to find meaning in their life spiritually, business, art, literature, anything. It's all there. There's this inquisitive to know what that really is, what the truth is. In fact, the desire to know the truth is a basic fundamental need of every human being. And honestly, this whole world's population will never be satisfied till they reach it. But right now it's like very few people are reaching it. You know, it's a slow, long, drawn out process. So, but one day we'll all get there. Because it's the destiny of this planet for every human being to be enlightened on the planet. Can you imagine that? That means we have to get to Hitler's enlightened. Before we can leave, we have to get everybody enlightened. But the good part about it is, now there's plenty of teachers. There's always been good teachers teaching this. But now it's starting to accelerate with the spread of media around the world, books, and YouTube and all that stuff. This information is spreading. So there's an acceleration in the people on the spiritual path. And when maybe right now, maybe only 2 people become self-realized every 25 years or something. But then they come back and start helping others. So you can imagine the more we get self-realized, the more come back and the more people get help. So pretty soon it accelerates, and at the last, there's a great wave of awakening. We're in a very significant wave of awakening right now.